Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa. I read and welcome to my channel. And in this weekly reading vlog, I'm reading 4 things. I have 3 of which here and 1 on ebook. So the first thing I get to is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. Then I move on to, not this specifically, but The Demon in the Wood, which is in here. Here we go, by Leigh Bardugo. I also pick up a short story called Stranded with the Wolf by Savannah Sterling. And then I begin The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. So let's get started with this reading vlog. Hi, so it's the beginning of a vlog. I'm excited because I'm going to... I've been really struggling with this channel, like not knowing what kind of content I should be making, and I was kind of going in one direction and I wasn't enjoying it, and I've been just really struggling with like just filming in general. And so I've been doing a lot of reflections lately and letting go a lot of like emotional hurts and stuff about this channel, but also like thinking about what I want to actually make. What kind of content do I want to make? And I realized I just want to make weekly vlogs. I just want to vlog every single day and talk about the books that I'm reading and just share my very boring life. Like, my life is not that interesting, but like that's kind of what I want to do. I don't really want to do themed reading vlogs. I just was finding that not enjoyable. I always get excited at the beginning of those vlogs, but then like I would just, I don't know, it just felt very like boring. And like when I was really enjoying vlogging is when I would do almost like daily vlogs, and it was more, I don't know, just like going with the flow and seeing what turned out at the end of the vlog, and like that kind of it being it. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing. Now onto the books. I'm going to be reading A Heart So Fierce and Broken. I started this like a few days back. I kind of took a break from reading over the weekend. I'm on chapter 2, so I barely read anything. But this is book 2, and I think it's called The Curse Breakers. And the thing that's interesting about this is that it's like an actual continuation. For some reason, I thought it was going to be more like a companion and it more like, I don't know, just... I thought we were going to be following Gray more, who's a soldier in book 1. Book 1 was the Beauty and the Beast retelling, and we were following Harper and Wren. And Harper was the heroine, I guess. Basically a portal fantasy because she lives in like modern day, what, DC, I think? And then Gray like brings her into this fantasy world, which is called Emberfall. And Wren is the prince who is cursed, and he's been reliving like the same season. I forget what season it was. It was maybe, I don't know, winter, fall, maybe it was winter, maybe it was fall, I don't remember, but like he was reliving the same season over and over and over again, and people left or died because he turns into this beast and he like kills everyone, which was really interesting take on the Beauty Beast retelling. I really enjoyed that, where, you know, it's almost like Groundhog Day but for an entire like season. And he needs to find someone to fall in love with him in order to break the curse. You got to see the villain who put this curse on him, and I liked the interesting take on that as well, and the reason why she cursed him. And Gray is his bodyguard. No, like he was kind of the head of the guard, and I think he wasn't the head at first. I think he kind of like by default became the head because everyone was dying. You know, he tried to let people fall in love with him over and over and over again, and Harper was the last one, and she has cerebral palsy, and I really liked the representation for that. I thought it was really well done. Yeah, I thought it was really, really cool. I loved it. I loved Harper. She's very like strong and brash in a way, and doesn't let this curse persuade her in a way, I guess that's the right way to say. And a bit of a love story, but it was more like the fantasy and everything. So this is a continuation, and there were some interesting things that were revealed at the end of the book. And so what I thought was going to happen, I have a lot to say about this already apparently, is I thought it was just, we're going to see what's happening with Gray, what he's doing, where he's at, and I think we will, but like we got perspectives from Harper and Wren, I think, and I just assumed their story was kind of like not gonna be present, but no, it's like a direct continuation. So I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it's bad or anything. It was just not what I was expecting. Here's the bookmark I'm gonna be using. Mr. Darcy himself. So I'll be reading this. I have a to-do list as well that I want to get done. Some more laundry. I want to pack an emergency bag, which sounds kind of crazy. There's been a lot of wildfires in the province I live in, and it's been kind of scary. It's nowhere near where I am, but it kind of reminded me that like this is something that we should just have. So I'm going to be doing that, and then I need to car a tire place. And I think I have to go shopping. That's kind of like my immediate to do. I'm gonna throw a load in now, and then I'm gonna get reading. And my plan is for sure 60 pages, maybe 75. And I don't know if there's a hockey game tonight or not. So if I can get all my reading done earlier and then I can watch the game. I haven't been watching the games. The Oilers are playing and they're in the playoffs. And so I feel like I need to watch. So yeah, so let's get on with our day. Okay, so I made some progress. I got that far along. It was so hard to focus. I took most of the day just to read this. It's about 2 o'clock now, but I got to page 133. I wanted to do most of my reading earlier on because the game is on later today. So I'm not much of a hockey fan, but I live in Oiler country now and it's hard to like not get sucked into it because everyone's obsessed. So I have been following the playoffs more so this year than I did last year. So anyways, I want to watch the game. I didn't watch the last 2 games, so I want to watch it. So I felt like, okay, I need to do all my reading earlier. So I read about 120-ish pages. This one's a lot different than I thought it was going to be. I think I already said that, but I thought we were going to get more perspectives from Ren and Harper, but that's not the case. It is more about it's more about Gray, but it's also about Leah Mara, and she is a princess with the neighboring country. And I don't remember it very well, but it seems like the neighboring country, Shallow, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but they were threatening Emberfall last book. I barely remember that part, but apparently they were. I kind of vaguely remember that they were kind of fighting them. So they were threatening them, and then they've come now to offer peace. And they offered Leah Mara's younger sister. So her younger sister is actually the heir, and she's not. But it seems like her sister and her mother, who's queen, are very brutal. Like, they're very, like, quick to, like, execute. And, like, they're just very brutal people, and that's how they rule. Their thinking is more like, you know, they're women, and so they have to show a lot. They have to show strength. Where Leah Mara doesn't feel that way. She doesn't actually like the choices that they're making, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic. So we start off with her like coming with her sister and her mother, and they were hoping to make a deal with the king, not king, Prince Ren, who is going to be king, and he denies them. And so she's come back. She's kind of snuck away from her mother and sister when they were making their way back to their country, and now she's captured. She was hoping to like make peace, maybe they can come to an agreement, and instead she got kidnapped. And then we're also following Gray, and he's been in hiding, and now he's captured as well. And it's just, I'm really liking it. I probably shouldn't be speaking too much about it, but I feel like it's not really that much spoilers. Like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it ruins anything from book 1. So I'm really liking the new characters that were introduced. Like, Gray has developed this friendship with this teen boy. It's not really clear like how old Gray is, but he's probably like young 20s. And this boy is like 15, and they were like working together at this tournament place. Like, they have like sword fights and people gamble over like the betting. And so he's been like, Gray and this boy have been working in the stables and working during the tournaments and stuff. So I've been really liking how he's been developing this relationship, and I have been really enjoying it. I'm really intrigued by Leah Mara. I really like her, and I think I kind of spoiled myself about like maybe who she falls for, but I really like her, and I did like her dynamic with her sister and her mother. But now she's like at the castle, and so there's gonna be some interesting dynamics. Obviously Harper is feeling sympathetic to her, but Ren has been really interesting. Like, he's been really kind of, I don't know, like not brutal, but I don't know. I'm liking it so far. So I'm more surprised that I'm liking it, I guess. I was kind of worried that maybe I wouldn't. I just had to get into reading again, and it was kind of hard to focus. I was like worried like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to get any stuff done because I'm reading. But I just told myself it's okay if I don't get anything done today. I have other days to do that. Today, like this evening's gonna be busy, so get the reading done, get a few things done, and then go on from there. So I'm done reading for now. I'll maybe read a little bit more later, but I'm gonna putter around a bit. My kids will be home in an hour and a half, and that's my day. I have a bit of a mini haul, just a little one. I bought a couple books from the library, and then I went to the secondhand store. The majority of the books I buy are always secondhand. They're super cheap, so that's the only way I can like afford books at all. But I found some from some series, and then like I'm in the middle of where have Ari on my TBR, and then some I just picked up because why not? So the first one is Scammed by Carol Higgins Clark. I have one of these other books. It's kind of interesting because I knew it was part of the same series. It's called the Reagan Riley Mystery, and I'm really curious to try her, and then I'm assuming her mom, Megan Higgins Clark. I know they write some books together, and I'm assuming they're mother and daughter. I don't actually know. I probably should look that up. Anyways, I originally wasn't going to read this book because it used to be titled something else. It used to be a slur of all things. And so when I figured out which book it actually was, I was really happily surprised that they changed the title. It was the G word, you know, the slur for Romani people, which is not okay. But I'm glad they changed that. And it's super short. It's like just over 300 pages. So originally I just was not going to read that one because obviously the title was a little uncomfortable, but they changed it, so I didn't even realize. I just thought it's one of these series that has many books in it. So anyways, I have a mystery. And then I found The Flame and the Flower by Kathleen E. Woodiwiss. I just love these classic covers. I can't quite tell if it's a first edition. It says it is, I think. It says first Avon printing, April 1972, and I don't know if that means this is the first printing of this, but if it is, like, that's kind of insane. I love it. It's purple. I have the red kind of cover of Shanna. I can't remember what it's called, but will I ever read this? Maybe. I have this. I'm in love with it. I also picked up Annihilation Road by Christine Feehan. So this is one of the Torpedo Ink novels. These books are like bestsellers, in the mass market section, and I don't know, I'm kind of curious to try Christine Fian. I know this is kind of like a motorcycle romance, and this is not the first book. I don't know which one it is, but I wouldn't mind trying this series. Why not? I got this. I also got I'm Only Wicked with You by Julianne Long. I read 2 of her books, and I liked one and I didn't like the other one, so I don't know, we'll wait and see. But this is part of the Palace of Rogues. I don't know, like the ones I read were about like princesses or somehow royalty, so maybe she writes a lot of royalty ones, especially if it says the word palace in there. But it's part of that series. It might be book 2, I'm not sure, but I have this one. I also picked up the Thursday Murder Club. I was really excited to find this secondhand. It's like in really good condition. Really getting into mysteries. I do really enjoy them. I need to read more. I find them really good, and I like watching British panel shows sometimes, and so I recognized Richard Osman, yeah. He's not one of my main British comedians I watch. I know who he is. I've seen him on TV sometimes. So I'm excited to try this, and it sounds like it's like a retirement community. Some people like solving murders or maybe like cold cases specifically. I don't know. I've heard it's really good, so I picked up this one. I also got Bed of Roses, which is book 2 in the Bride Quartet. This is by Nora Roberts. I have another one, Vision in White. This is book 1. So I have book 1 already. So now I have book 2. There's 4 books in this series. And I never tried Nora Roberts yet, but hopefully I like her books. I got 2 books written by Christina Britton, and I'm almost like, these are Amazon printing, so she must be like an independent author. So we have With Love in Sight and The Viscount Promise. And so this is book 1 and 2. This is book 1. This is book 2, and they're called Twice Shy series, and they're kind of big for romances. The margins, like top and bottom, are quite big. So, but anyways, it's over 400 pages. But they're historical romance, and if you don't know yet, I really like historical romance, so I have these 2. And then I picked a couple from the library, so they have some library stickers and stuff, and I might need to try and get rid of them. But I have The Indigo Spell, so this is Bloodline novel. I have another one. And I've never even read The Vampire Diaries, which is the first series, so I would have to read that series first. But yeah, this was $2, like why not? So I have this one, and then I also have Black Souls here, which is book 2. I forget what book 1 is called, but this is the sequel. So I thought, well, you know, that's kind of convenient to have them both. I kind of want to take this binding off, so I might at some point do that, but I have this handy if I like book 1. And so yeah, that is my little mini haul, and let's move on. Okay, so it's the next day. There's been it's fine, but we had an issue with our bathroom, so we're kind of dealing with that. So I have been super distracted, but I'm making really good progress. I haven't read anything. I just read it all yesterday, and I'm really liking this. It's really interesting. There was an inciting incident that happened. I don't know if I'm halfway. I'm less than halfway, but I'm basically already there. I'm on page 194. I'm really liking the dynamics between all the characters. Ren is acting really interesting, not in a good way, but like he's the one kind of like causing a lot of conflict, and something has happened between him and Gray. And so, and it's not just affecting their relationship, but it's affecting Harper, and I'm kind of curious to see what's gonna happen. And Leah Mara is gonna be involved, and I'm really curious to see where this is going. So I'm really liking this. I'm not quite like obsessed, like I'm really liking it. I can't quite tell if it's like a 4-star or maybe like a 4.25. I know that's very specific, but that's kind of where I'm feeling. But I'm really enjoying this reading experience, and I do like being in this world again. It's kind of interesting to see the dynamics between all these characters. So since I was like struggling with a little bit of anxiety today, I treated myself to a few more books. I got It's in His Kiss by Julia Quinn. I think this is book 7 in the Bridgerton. I've only read the first 3 books, and I own the first one. I think this is book 7. I'm not sure. But I saw it there. I'm like, why not? And then A Husband's Wicked Ways by Jane Feather. I don't know what number this one is either, but I think book 2. This might be book 3. And I think I have book 2, and all the titles have the word like wicked in it. And what's this series? It says on Goodreads what series this is, but I just looked, and I own To Wed a Wicked Prince, and then I think the other one is A Wicked Gentleman. So I guess I'm slowly collecting this series. And then I found Regretting You, and I may already regret buying this. Funny enough, I always tell myself like that I don't want to read her books, but it's like a brand new copy for $2. So I'm like, I can't just not buy it. So here I am buying it. So there was a few other books I could have picked up, but I kind of restrained myself to those 3. And then I picked up some library books because I needed this for my current TBR this month. So I have Moonlight Scandals here. It's kind of nice to read the physical copy. Like I could have gotten this on ebook, but I'd rather just borrow it than I don't have to use a Hoopla borrow for this month. So this is the last book in the De Vincent series that I need to get to. And then I have got A Touch of Malice here by Scarlett St. Clair. This is book 3 in the Hades and Persephone series. So these were already planned for this month, and the fact that my library had them was kind of great. So when I go book shopping, I just go to the secondhand store and see what's there, and I kind of just, like, that's kind of how I buy books. I very rarely buy brand new. Sometimes I do, but it's not like, you know, each of these books are $2. Like that's how much it is. It's not like I'm spending a lot of money on it. So, and yeah, so that's my mini update, and I think I'm ready to finally read. I'm ready to relax and not worry about stuff. So I'm gonna be continuing on. So there's been a change of plans because, well, not a change of plans, but usually my kids walk home and I need to pick them up because it's raining, and normally I'd just be like, they could probably do it, but it's thundering out and they have to walk through a big field, and it just makes me nervous. So I've decided to leave early because that's the only way to get a proper parking spot. There's no other way around that, and so I'm here 30 minutes early. I brought the book, so I'll probably read a little bit. So here we go. I'm gonna keep reading for a little bit, and I have my little lime sparkling water, so I'm gonna be doing that right now while I wait, and hopefully we don't get too wet. We need the rain so bad because it's been like wildfires like crazy. It's kind of scary. So we really need the water a lot. I just don't want my kids to walk in it, so that's what's gonna happen. Okay, so I've a lot to update. Early this morning, I finished A Heart So Fierce and Broken. So I pretty much started this on Monday and then took a break on Tuesday. Read a lot yesterday, and then early this morning I finished it, and I really liked this. I really did. I was thinking about it, and I think the thing that really was the strongest thing about this story was the characters. There wasn't like one character that I disliked. I liked them all. I really liked Gray as a lead, and it wasn't just him, it was also Leah Mara, I think that was her name. I really liked her as well, and I just thought the dynamics was really interesting. I loved all the side characters. Jake was a big part of this, and Noah, but also there was a really nice relationship between Gray and this teen boy, and they became like really good brothers almost. Taicho, I think that's how you say it. They met while Gray was working at, they called it the tourney, but like they worked at like a stadium where people would like fight each other, kind of like gladiator style, and like they took care of the horses in the stadium and things like that. So that's where they met, and since Gray was swept up in all the politics of everything, Taiko kind of fell into everything as well. And it was really interesting story. Like, I really liked it. There was a lot of travel in here too, which I always enjoy in a fantasy, where they're camping out and either walking on foot or on horseback. And I always like those segments of fantasy stories, and that was a big part of this story. And you got to see like Gray's journey, going from wanting to be a nobody but having to become a somebody, I guess you can say. And I love Leah Mara's story as well. Her being like the daughter of the queen of the neighboring country, Sile Shallow. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Sile Shallow, I think. And, you know, kind of aligning with Gray, and her being very different from her mother, the queen, and her sister, who is the heir, and kind of her journey as well. I liked the love story pretty good as well, and, you know, I definitely got emotional at some times. And I don't know, I just really liked the story a lot. I think the thing that was the strongest was the characters. And there was another like creature named Isaac. And I think that was one of the critiques I have, is like, I wish we had more from him. I wish he was, I don't know, like, I wish he was more utilized, I guess. He was almost like he was just there. And I kind of wished he was used more, I guess. I don't know, yeah. I don't know what to say about it, but I found him interesting. It was kind of unclear. He was kind of like a bat creature or something, kind of humanoid, but with like really gray skin and wings, almost like bat-like, almost with fangs and claws. Kind of an interesting creature. And there was definitely like a found family kind of element. And, you know, it works. This story works pretty good for like a continuation from book one. I feel like book one could happily just like end there. Like, if you don't want to continue, you don't really have to. And I find the dynamics between Gray and Ren really interesting. Ren's character has been really interesting. Ren is barely in here. I thought he was going to be a bigger part, because he did have like a chapter in the beginning, and I think Harper had one too, but then it ended with Ren having a chapter at the end. There was kind of like an interesting twist. When it comes to the plot itself, like, I don't know if I find it super interesting. I think that's why I said the characters are what really sold this for me. It was a character-driven story, and you know, it was really about Gray like kind of running away from his destiny, you could say, running away from Ren, and Ren making terrible decisions and Gray kind of coming into his own, becoming a true leader, I guess. And you know, like I said, there's some traveling and stuff. Bit of a love story in here, which I did like. It's not like I disliked it. I did enjoy it. So I think I'm going to give this 4 stars. Like, I really liked book 1 more. I still really enjoyed this a lot. Maybe like a 4.25 because like I feel like it should be a 5-star. And in a lot of ways, like, I really liked this a lot, but for some reason something's missing and I don't really know what it is. But I highly recommend it, and maybe I'll love book 3. Like, I love the characters so much and I would happily keep reading about these characters. That's the thing that's kind of is interesting. Like, I could keep reading about these characters happily, but anyways, yeah, so since I finished it, I didn't read a ton of pages, like maybe 40 to 50 this morning, maybe even less, maybe it was more like 30. I decided I'm still in a YA fantasy mood, so I'm not reading Ruin Rising, but I'm reading The Demon in the Wood, which is interesting so far. That is what I'm reading. I've read a few pages. I think I'm like halfway through it's a short story. I think I'm halfway through. It is an origin story, I guess you can say, for the Darkling. I don't even know if it's an origin story. What is it saying it is? A Darkling prequel story. The Darkling is a boy, like he's like 13. I thought this was gonna be something from the show. Like, there was a scene in the show that wasn't in the books that I've read, and I wondered if this was gonna be it, but it's not. It's like him and his mom are joining a camp. It's still in Ravka, but it's like on the border of I forget how you pronounce the name. On the border of Ravka and Ferida? I don't know how to say that. But it's like a wintry village of Grisha, and he met some girls and some boys there. They have a bit of a scuffle, and that's basically it. But I find that interesting where he's like a boy. So I'm gonna finish that, and then maybe today I'm gonna start The Queen of Nothing. I'm in a YA mood. I'm in a fantasy YA mood, and I think it'd be kind of cool to finally finish this trilogy. Yeah, I should probably read like the library books, but I have them for like 19 days still, so I have time to read this before I move on to those. But I am really excited to just finish this. I'm in the mood, so I may as well go for it. So that is my reading update. I just thought this was so funny because, like, I don't think I've ever seen that before where an author, like, acknowledges, like, another author. I don't know. I'm sure it's happened before, but, like, I just thought it was so funny. It was Lee Bardugo when I just, like, finished reading the short story from books. So that was really strange. But yeah, I'm excited to get reading. Hi everyone, so it is time to close out this vlog, but before I do so, let's talk about what I have read. So I did start The Queen of Nothing, and I've gotten like 54 pages in, so I'm not that far along. Wednesday is helping me out. I love that. It's going good so far, and I like it. I don't know, like, I'm not upset by the direction that this may be going in. I won't spoil anything, but basically what I'm gonna say is Jude has been in the human world, and now she's found herself going back into the fairy world, and you got to see what she was doing in the human world, which is kind of interesting. And I'm curious to see where this is going to go. Like, I don't know, like, I think I need to read more before I make my own opinion about how I feel about this book. But I kind of wonder if people don't like this book because maybe it's too similar to book one, where book one was like my favorite so far. I'm really intrigued to see like all the scheming and stuff, and I think that's what's going to be happening. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to see. We'll have to keep reading it. I did read something else. I just picked it up on a whim. I think it was like a free ebook on Kindle, so I just downloaded it. It's called Stranded with the Wolf, Fated Mates short story. It wasn't very long. It was like 90 pages, Kindle pages, like, so probably shorter than that. I got it for free. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but I kind of wonder if it's more like 3.5. Like, it was a short romance. Like, you know, you kind of have to give short stories like a lot of grace, and that's what I kind of feel like I'm doing. I really enjoyed my time. It was about a woman getting stranded in a small town, and he is a werewolf, obviously, or a shifter, and the moment he sees her, he's mated with her, you know, fated mates kind of thing. And she gets stranded, and they find themselves kind of locked in a cabin, and they fall in love and get together kind of thing. So that was basically the story. The thing is interesting is I've been listening to some podcasts about like self-publishing and things like that, and I listened to some authors who write insta-love stories, and I can't help but feel like really intrigued by that genre, because, you know, you think that you would enjoy it, because I know in YA 10-15 years ago that happened a lot, insta-love. But with adult romances, like, I think I can see it, especially if the guy falls first. I can see myself really enjoying those. So I do want to try those. Fated Mates is basically like insta-love in a way, and it was very much an insta-love story. You know, it was just a quick, fun novella. I like werewolves. I like Fated Mates, so I thought I would just read it on a whim. So it's probably more like 3.5 though, because it was like cheesy, you know, like it wasn't like anything groundbreaking or anything. So that's it for this reading vlog. I'm going to start another one right now, but I'd love to know if you've read any of these books before. If you have, please comment down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about them. If you have any book recommendations for me, feel free to share them. I'm always looking for more recommendations. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you have not done so, you can follow me on Goodreads and Instagram. And you know what? I want you to keep reading. Bye.